Hello everyone, it's me, Andrew Ruscoe, the founder, chairman of FC United of Wrexham. So, a little bit different today. I think it's about time we had a discussion about my invisible illness, let's call it. And the topic as well being about learning needs as well. So, a little bit about myself. Just to give it the context, I've suffer from Palindromic Rheumatism, and I'm also dyslexic, for those who don't know. So so this is the topic today: invisible illnesses and learning disabilities in that sense. So learning needs. So anyway, this Palindromic Rheumatism. So how does it impact me as a person? Okay, because I mentioned it on the previous clips, and I thought it come to my head. I thought it might be a good chance now to start talking about those things. So Palindromic Rheumatism, wow. Well, put it this way, it can be a living nightmare. I get when it hits me like a ton of bricks. It's like someone's took a big sledgehammer and give you a good old whack in your place, like your joints. So things like your fingers, knees, your shoulder, elbow, arm, even my throat. I've had it in there, and oh, it's awful. And it can give you a lot of brain fog as well. So some days you wake up and you're like, you just can't think, and you feel a bit dizzy and a bit like if people are talking at you, you're just not absorbing information. It could be quite a disabling invisible illness, and it's something that I know that over the years a lot of people don't discuss enough of invisible illnesses. So I thought it'd be a good chance with our new YouTube page to discuss it. So yeah, but let's go back. So Palindromic Rheumatism, when did it start for me? So it was quite funny. I was delivering a soccer camp back in my day at Brickfield Rangers, and this is the first time I can, recall anything that happened. But I was delivering a soccer camp for Mr. Steve Walters back in 2016, I think it was, and it was going so well. We had a great turnout. Steve was doing a lot of Q&As and everything. And we're about to go inside, and just randomly, and apparently these kind of illnesses can trigger from things like this. I had of all things, a bee sting me at the bottom of my ankle, and oh my god, my ankle flared up. It was really painful, and that was the starting point for me, where I first remember when complications started happening. So palindromic rheumatism, obviously with it being an invisible illness, is it's an immune kind of system disorder, and it's where basically your body starts attacking your joints and everything. Your immune system does, and stuff like that, and obviously flares things up, makes it swollen, and yeah, it gives it a lot of pain and redness. But anyway, so I'm doing this soccer camp and for Steve Walters, and that incident happened, and for weeks I started having pains here, couldn't lift my arm up, it was like that. It was in agony, my back, everything I've mentioned earlier. Anyway, I think it got about 6 months, and my brain's processing what's going on. Usually when I've had pain back in the day, it's like, oh, the pain comes and pain goes, and it's like, that's fine, you know what I mean? I may have had a spell of 3 months of pain before, and just got on with life, and life's okay. But this wasn't going away, and you'd have one day your arm wasn't lifting up, next minute it was the other arm, and next minute it would flare up like toothache and start throbbing, and you know what, I'd rather toothache when this was happening. And sometimes I couldn't even get my legs in the car to drive the car, and it was just, even driving was painful, and trying to move the gear stick, but you still have to go to work. And that's the thing with the system. When you do start getting investigated, in a sense of finding out what illnesses you're getting through examination and everything. You never really find out instantaneously, and it takes years. But anyway, this is what was happening. So eventually 2017 came, and I started going to the doctors, and the doctors kept doing tests, couldn't find anything. All bloods were all right. They found that I had one of the genes or something for arthritis, so they were trying to label that. But when I was telling them and explaining to them what was happening, and when I was trying to catch the right moments to demonstrate what was happening, when I couldn't lift my arm up, you couldn't get in the doctors to show them, or you couldn't get in the hospital right at that point. But this was a back and two, and so on. And I was in one of the doctor surgeries in Copawiv when all this investigation was going on. And anyway, back 2017, I moved out the area. I had a breakup at the time with one of my first ex. And basically, I was going back and still to the doctor, still going through, tests and examinations. I wasn't even on any tablets at this point. And basically, I was in work, and I couldn't, I was really busy, and I asked my mum to call the doctors, and my mum, being in her wisdom and being great, turned around and said, oh, he's living back here, and they went, oh, right, where do you live, Mrs. Ruscoe? Oh, down in Brynoffa, and basically threw me off the list. That was the beginning of a poor 2017 for me, because at that point I was working for an organisation, the NPCT, and they wanted me to run up a hill, and I was going back and to Cardiff. Sometimes I was driving to Cardiff and I couldn't even move, like I said, the gear stick. And it just didn't work out. We went down the Brecons, and I couldn't get up the mountain. I was fit back then, and obviously my health started to take effect and so on. But unfortunately, I was unable to get up the hill, and it resulted in myself losing my job after that, which was such a shame, because I thought so highly of the NPCT. Did my work placement in there and everything, and it was my dream job, if I was being honest with you. I got to this point where I was working with my dream job, good wage, and then next minute, 3 months later, I'm out of the job, because obviously, I didn't know this at the time. They didn't know this. They must have thought I was lazy, but my health played an impact. And so anyway, that was 2017. Anyway, moved out the area, couldn't get into a doctor's, got into university and all this. So I was going through these issues on a weekly basis, and I remember a monthly basis, and then I'd have some good months with nothing, and next minute I'd be back to ill again. I thought, I started thinking, was it my diet? Was it this? Was it that? It played on your mind a little bit. It probably gave me a bit of mental health at the time, but because 1 minute you're this fit person who's active, has never not been active, and next minute I'm being disabled, basically, to the point I couldn't even put my own sock on. But yeah, that had happened. Anyway, so back to 2000 and when was it now? So we went through uni, got through there, and then basically got a job after COVID. I was all right, reasonably okay, I suppose. And then the illness back in 2021 really hit me like a ton of bricks again. I was working in the prison, in Berwyn Prison at the time. I was working there as a football coach. I met a gentleman called Andy Nelson, absolutely amazing guy, and I was working with a guy called Steve Monk. I've done a lot with Steve Monk over the years, with Bricky and so on. But yeah, I met Andy. He was like the god of football, a great mentor. But I was trying to carry these balls and everything, getting ready to be active and everything, and I'm literally, I can't even lift it, and it's agonizing. Anyway, so we at this moment in time, I'm still volunteering as well after these sessions and so on, so I never stopped or anything. But in the end, I made the decision, which they didn't know this, not many knew it, but I left the prison because I was worried about my health. I thought, as a sports coach, doing it full time, I thought, well, I'm not a very good sports coach if I can't lift a bag of balls at the time. Again, I was only going through the I weren't in the doctors at this point, so I moved back into Copa with 2021, and I got back in the doctors that I was first in. Obviously we'd done all sign up and everything, and that was fine. And anyway, I went in again. I thought, because I started getting ill again, and I thought, well, that was it, because I took a new job up in Remploy, and I was walking into their work looking like sometimes that I'd been beat up or something because I couldn't physically walk, and they're going, "Are you all right?" and everything, and I'm like, yeah, because I was walking like this. Anyway, I got back in the doctors, and the doctors told me, "Oh yeah, you were diagnosed 5 years ago with Palindromic Rheumatism." So I was basically in the doctors. I went through all the tests. They found the results out. They threw me out, but they held on to this important information, and they literally, I found out that I was ill, and I went through all that illness. I went through all that illness, pain, suffering for a long time. Was it 2017, 18, 19, 20, 21, 4 year worth of pain, and then after that they put me on naproxen. I was on firstly 250 grams, but it wasn't working, and then they went up to four tablets of naproxen a day, and I've been on it ever since. But 2021 was lovely. I won the Leader Courage Award because I didn't let the illness stop me, even though it disabled me quite a bit at the time. But since I've been on the tablets, it's controlled it. But don't get me wrong, sometimes it gets really bad. Or let's say I haven't taken the tablets for a week, because I don't like taking tablets, because I don't think it's good for the liver, and apparently naproxen that I'm on is not good for the stomach. But then I remember I went to one of the award ceremonies with Steve Walters and his wife one evening, the Northwest Awards. Absolutely brilliant. Dion Dublin was there. There was Bobby Robson. There was Dennis Law there. There was all lots of heroes that you looked up to over the years, and I was so looking forward to this evening. On that evening when I went there, and I just couldn't enjoy it. I was having a couple of pints, because I do like a beer now and again. Not so much these days, because I find that it really impacts me. It makes my illness a lot bad as well, so I don't feel the effects like the enjoyable effects. And it was awful. That's awful. I got back to the hotel room that night, and I couldn't sleep, because I was just up all night, and it gives you what it does. It gives you like an insomnia as well, and you can't sleep. And thing is with me, if I don't sleep, I get anxiety even more so from it. And it was awful. But touch wood, since then it's been quite under control. I've started to notice certain foods could actually maybe trigger it if I'm eating too much fatty foods or stuff like that. But yeah, that's palindromic rheumatism, and as quick as it comes, as bad as it goes. It comes in like a hurricane and goes out like a tornado sometimes. But it's probably what stopped me playing. But as more so. But I did try and play again in 2022 and 2023, and I played through the pain barrier when I started playing again in 2021 for Polton Vics and starting town, and I was playing the games, but for 5-6 days I was in absolute agony with not like muscle aches, but just really bad pain. I was even playing through it sometimes, trying to it was hurting. You try to lift your arm, it's like but I played through it and pushed myself through it. But back in November 2022, so 2 years this month, we played Flint Mountain, for FC United Wrexham, because I wanted to get some good games for the team and everything. And I dislocated my knee on the pitch. I got up and, you know, straightened my leg, got the kneecap back into place, let's say, and I tried to carry on, but I felt like I had no knee, and I carried on playing from the sidelines. Did I go to hospital? No, because, you know, over the years I've broke my knuckle, I broke my wrists, I've broke my toe, and I've never gone to the hospital. I just can't be bothered with the waiting. It's stupid, and I know I'm stupid, but I just can't be bothered with the waiting. And ever since then, it's been a constant like pain in my left knee, and it's never really got better. I've tried playing a few times with it, but still, it's agonising. But I mean, you know, as a person who's been in sport, it guts you. But that's life, I suppose. But yeah, that's palindromic rheumatism, invisible illnesses. But if you've got an invisible illness, you know, speak up. Let's talk about it. It's, you know, it's time to speak out and try and, you know, because one thing with palindromic rheumatism, the scientists, the doctors don't know much about it, and the more we document and get this information out there, the more people are going to get to understand it. But yeah, that was that. But also, yeah, dyslexic. I went through all my life. You know, I thought I had all good grades, but when I think back, I had to really revise. The information was always hard to retain in this old noggin as such. Back when I was in school, I still come out with C's and 1B and 1A and 2 D's, and I did my A levels. I suffered the first year and that, but I always had to kind of like read information, highlight it, and then, you know, try and speak it out and so on, and recite, you know, kind of like recite it and stuff on. But I'd always get like C's. You know, I was never really that good if that was the case. But I always tried hard. I always put the effort in. But I went to uni. You know, back in 2012, I'd made the decision to go to university. I wanted to, which I did youth and community, and got to uni. You know, and you're all excited, something new. Got to the first assignment, I did all right, and after that I started struggling, and so I thought, well, you know, let's go and get a site. You know, they've Glyndor, Wrexham University now. We're a fantastic uni, great positive environment. Sometimes unrealistic when you get into the real world, but you know, I tell you what, it was best experience ever. You know, from an educational point of view, and they pay for you to have this what they call educational psychology report, and there was a guy called Keith Lindley who was doing the reports, and he was brilliant. Like, I was saying, you used to be like this, didn't you? And all this, and you like sit back and, ooh, yeah, because he's telling you your life kind of story without realizing. Anyway, did this test and came back that I was dyslexic, but my dyslexia is around visualizing, for example. So for example, when you talk to me, if someone says, "Oh, there's an orange over there," I'll you know, a big orange. I'm in my head, I'm building up a picture of this massive orange, or for example, well, that's probably a poor example, that is. But what would be a better example? I don't know. Wait. You know, when people say a brick, I'm already building a house in my head. It's just, I'm like away with the fairy sometimes, and I feel bad sometimes because I'm talking to people, but I'm already thinking and visualizing other things in my head, and it's like, wow. Do I think it's disabled me? No, I don't think so. I think it's been something that it's been quite creative for me. Has it probably impacted me on in taking knowledge? The way I've looked at it is that someone could talk to me now, I probably won't think about that until next week or the week after or something like that, and then I'll come back to the conversation. Because I started to visualize what they're trying to tell me. But you know, I like to draw. You know, I'm not very good at art. Draw pictures because I'm trying to visualize things and so on. But no, I think it's helped me with a lot of you know, creative work that I've done, especially with the football coaching and so on. So trying to write assignments was absolute nightmare, but yeah, it was good. But don't get me wrong, I think I came through a good generation where for example, you know, you grew up with technology, but at the same time you had to communicate and talk to people, and you still you know, you have to be, you know, good communication. But I don't know what I'm trying to say there, but I forgot. But no, but the thing is, though, I do think what this dyslexia that I've got is played a massive advantage in my life, because sometimes I see things that people don't see. I'll ask the questions that people won't ask. Maybe because people do get it quicker than me. Maybe. But I do find that when I do ask these particular questions, it does get the people who sometimes, when you think they're quicker than you, actually sit back and listen to that question in depth. I find when you ask certain question, because sometimes people will say you got to do this and this, and I'll go, well, why? What happens if you do this and this first before that, and stuff like that, and people start to think about it. I think what's the best one thing in life, I always try to connect this to that. Everyone knows 2 times 2 is 4, but why is 2 times 2 is 4? Why is it? I understand that you got 2 bits and 2 bits, but where did them 2 bits come from? Where did them 2 bits come from? So why did someone make 4? It's that kind of thinking. It is. Well, I'm not here losing my head or anything, but I'm just trying to explain. I'll ask why. I want to see why. I want to understand why, so I know that when I'm communicating to people or talking with people, I'm understanding it and not trying to visualize something that I don't understand, if that makes sense. So yeah, it's that's one thing. And the other thing is, I suppose I do see this in my dyslexia sometimes. I'm because I'll understand processes, and I've seen it and got all this understanding and learning in my head, I sometimes may struggle to communicate it, which might amaze you. So some people, because they'll think that I talk for Britain or don't, but I do struggle sometimes to communicate, because I don't know, I think I've always been a bit of that lone wolf. But I think it's something that I've learned in later life, that you've got to work with people and communicate better and so on. But I do think that when it's good, because when I was doing teaching and so on, I was able to try and tick what they call the VARC system, auditory, visual, kinesthetic, basically areas, and to try and help people, because I'm definitely a kinesthetic learner. I have to act it out, do it out, visualize it out, and listen. But listening is probably not one of my strong skills, because I've people talk to me sometimes, and I think they'll say one thing, and I think they're saying, like, cheese or something when they're talking to me. And they'll go, I didn't say that, and I'm going, well, that's what I thought you said, or I misinterpret things. But again, it's all part of the dyslexia, I guess. But listen, that's near enough 25 minutes of me rambling on, talking about my struggles with palindromic rheumatism, my struggles with dyslexia, and how I found out, thanks to Wrexham University, that I was dyslexic. But listen, I'd love to hear about yourselves and so on. And if you see the comment section, comment under this. If you see it on social media, comment on it. If you've got if you like what we're doing, please like and subscribe. But listen, we are a channel. I know it's a lot about me talking at the moment. I don't want it to be about me. I want it to be about others. If you're in the club, please be inspired. Let's start talking. Let's document things. But if you're a community champion or an organisation, we want to help you and support you. Because I did a bit of a write-up for the press today, obviously, to talk about and highlight our YouTube channel, and we're hoping that's going to get out to the wider community. But listen, hopefully we grow, and that's the intention. I've got some big plans. I want to go and do things like show everyone the castles in Wrexham, things like the one in Irving, the old Motte and Bailey Castle Ruscoe, that people don't know much about. So yeah, the old Motte and Bailey. But listen, this was Andrew Ruscoe. I hate when I say I'm the founder and chairman, because why do titles matter? And I suppose that's another debate for another day. Why do titles matter? I'd rather be the dog's body. That's me. You know, I'm just here, I want to help people and so on, but hopefully this information I've shared today helps others to maybe be inspired to share and their struggles and so on. But listen, good night, God bless, and over and out. Oosh!